All right, Coach, yeah, just give us a wrap-up on not only the game on Saturday, but just the spring practice in general and how you guys come out of that.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt in spring football. I mean, the head coach can't lose in the way of that format we had the other day, so I was okay with that. But, I mean, the bottom line thing is the reality is we got to see a lot of players that we expect to be able to play that hadn't played here before, played a lot of plays. And those guys, the experience that they have received in the last 15 practices, that's going to be an enormous help to the depth that I think we were lacking a year ago. And then I think, secondly, there's position battles. And some of those position battles maybe became clearer or maybe muddled a little bit more to where they're deeper. And you could take the wide receiver position for that matter and say, Cougar Williams and Kellen Moriarty closed the gap on Eric Gardley, although Eric Gardley had a great spring. He had an outstanding spring, but the other two guys proved that they could play too. And I think that that's what you're looking to do is, find out just how deep you are at certain positions and how maybe not deep you are at other positions. But for the most part, I think we really found out that we're a deeper football team than we were a year ago.
Yeah, with the recruits not being here, and they won't get here obviously till August. Do you come out of the spring drills, feeling better about your team in a lot of areas? Or are there certain areas that you're still concerned about, and you're just going to have to wait until to August to shore up some areas?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that the depth in the secondary is definitely going to be a question that we're going to have to deal with. I think when everybody's healthy again, it'll be a lot better. But I think that even though some guys got some repetitions, for example, Johnny Millard's done a great job at outside linebacker where we moved him. But for the last 5 days, he had to practice at safety because we were so decimated in the secondary. So it takes away from his progress as an outside linebacker. So it's definitely an area we're concerned about. But we do think we have some recruits in that are going to come in and hopefully help us. And the one thing we are doing this year is we're not selling the redshirt thing with our freshmen. As much as we would like to be able to do that, your first obligation is be as good as you can be in 2010, and that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to make sure our best players are ready to play, and if you're a freshman, so be it. Last year we protected a lot of guys, which was good. I think it's going to help us this year in our depth situation. I think we found some guys that can definitely play, but this year it will be a little bit different.
So when will the guys when will you get them back out on the field? Is it the first week of August, mid-August? When will be the next time?
Their report day is August 8th, and the first day in the field will be August 9th.
Okay, so you guys have, let's see, three and a half months now. The team where you can't practice. What's the, what's the philosophy now for the team? And are they on their own? I mean, how do you guys, work out?
Our strength coach, Coach Wood, Dave Wood, has done a tremendous job, and we're going to ask him to continue to do a great job. And I think that we became a bigger, stronger football team in the last 3 months, and we want to continue to be bigger, stronger, faster. And the one word we use in football all the time is finish. So we want to finish the academic year. We want to finish the weight room part of it. We want to finish the conditioning part of it, so we're ready to truly start the 2010 season with the best football team we can have. So this is a critical time, really, because you can get a lot done with your body. Healing your body, number one, and making your body a better body, stronger, faster. All those things are things that we're looking to do in the next 12 weeks.
So the guys, I mean, you can't come together as a team, right? You can't have an organized team practice. We know that. But in terms of film work or studying the playbook, what can they do? What can't they do?
Well, they can come in as often as they'd like and visit with us, and we would encourage that, but we can't mandate it. But they're given X amount of time now when they can actually come in and do mandatory meeting time. 45 minutes a week is what we about use. And but we'll be right now, they'll get some time off to get reaccustomed with their bodies and doing the right things in the weight room, which becomes a little bit more full-time now, and finishing what they need to do academically. And the other thing our players do a tremendous job in the summer is they organize practices. So the 60 or 65 guys that are in town, they go out and they throw it around, and they do things that are going to make them a better football team in 2010. I think they're very directed young people, and we have great senior leadership, we think, this year, which will definitely help us as well.
And you, as the head coach and the coaching staff, what kind of things are you doing? Are you recruiting for even next year, or are you drawing up new plays? How do you keep yourself busy for the next few months?
Well, recruiting will become the emphasis right now. We'll make sure that, number one, we finish what we need to finish now roster-wise. Then our players will hit the road for a little bit in May and do some spring recruiting. We have made some junior offers already, which is a good thing. And our defensive staff, for example, they're at USC tonight. They arrived tonight, and they're going to stay there and watch them practice and visit with their defensive staff. And they're doing that on their own. I think that's a great thing. So to go out and visit and have conversation with other staffs and improve yourself as a football coach. And then as you get into the summer, hopefully recharge and reload so that you're ready for the big push when we get to September.
And just overall, my last question, I mean, in comparison to a year ago at this time, I mean, where do you feel the team is at now that, you've been here over a year and you've got 2 spring drills under your belt, and how's the team looking now?
Well, I think knowing each other a little bit better, I think that's a huge thing. I mean, it's like anybody else when you're building relationships. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, there's somewhat of a trust because you have the title of coach, and the coach has somewhat of a trust because they respect what players do. But the reality is, as you get to know each other better, I think that whole process becomes a better process. So we're way further along that way. I think, secondly, I think the fact is we know what our players can and truly can and cannot do in two ways. Number one, we had a season to actually watch them play in games, the returners. And we have a better feel for what their pluses and minuses might be. And for the young guys going through their first full year here, especially if you're a freshman, I think the opportunity to prove that you should be playing exists too, which is going to make us a better team.
Hey, Coach, if you had to name the one player who is like maybe the MVP of spring ball or the one that you think had the best spring, who would it be?
Well, yeah, that's a tough question. I mentioned the receiving core did a great job. There's a couple of guys I think that I'd mention just from a consistency standpoint. I think David Marr and Fred Gaines played extremely consistently this spring, which is a good thing. But sometimes the guys that become the guys you really want to talk about are the guys because, for example, James Chen, he played 0 plays Saturday, or Asa Jackson played 0 plays. Could they be the MVP of your spring? Maybe. Marty Mohammed was limited. Eric Clemmy was limited. So some of the guys that really become the most valuable players are those players that step up and make a name for who they are. Sullivan Gross, the defensive lineman, has done a great job of that, and it's a position we think we need more depth at. And I think at 6'3", 265 pounds, and as big, strong, and fast as he is showing us that he's ready to play college football at the level we need to play it at. And I think sometimes those guys become your valuable players. I think if you look at Andre Broaddus, I think he's trying to do as much as he can to take advantage of the situation that's in front of him. But there are a lot of players that are the most valuable. DJ didn't practice, so he definitely is out of it. So I think those younger players are the players you really want to look to and look for as far as determining how much progress they made and what their value is going to be to the team is gigantic for next fall.
So we know the starting quarterback position is still ongoing till the fall. If you were to say, as far as who would be the number 3, number 4 guys, just as far as the backups had a pretty surprising, eye-opening spring for you, or made the most progress.
Well, I think Doug Shumway is a really good athlete. He's what we're looking for athletically with the ball in his hands. He needs to be able to throw the football better at the level we play at in order to be a quarterback here. But his athleticism is becoming more and more obvious to us. I think Vince Moraga, as far as athleticism, he's way ahead of the game too. He's got quick feet, quick hand-eye coordination, and then the two young guys, Ken and Duke, they also are good players, but what they need to realize is this still starts with the triple option. So as much time as they've spent taking a 3, 5, and 7-step drop and throwing the ball around for the first 18 years of their life as a quarterback, they need to realize that's how many repetitions they need to take when they're on their own doing the triple option things. And until they do that, then they're going to have their struggle. They need to be able to be efficient at what we're doing and then maybe let some of the other habits they have be good ones that can help them play here as well.
Thanks, Coach.